probably tried over 50 different menstrual cups and discs in a span of almost a decade. So today I thought it would be fun to go through the worst ones I've ever tried. Hi and welcome to the Period Nirvana channel. My name is Kim Rosas and I am a reusable period products expert, and that is a thing. It's what I do for a living. On this channel you'll find a lot of helpful video guides to navigate how to use these products and help you pick. And if you need a little more hand holding, you can take the quiz on periodnirvana.com that will match you to what's likely the best menstrual cup or menstrual disc for your body. On that note, if you're in the US, make sure to check out Period.Shop for all of your reusable period products needs. When you purchase something from Period.Shop, you're directly supporting and enabling the educational content that I provide on this channel, so thank you. In what is a shockingly long career in trying different reusable period products, I've tested almost all of them. I've tested really, really good ones, ones that worked okay, ones that didn't work for me but work for other people, and just a handful of products that are somehow things that got past human testing and into human vaginas. I'm still perplexed. On the whole, the products that are available to us in the US and even worldwide, they are all good products. I like to say there are no bad reusable menstrual cups. They're just bad fits for you. And that is true 99% of the time. So this video is going to focus on the products that are either the 1%, the ones that are really just truly bad for, I would say, everyone or virtually everyone, or they just were not a good fit for me. And they're still a good product, potentially for you, they just weren't for me. Before I start my list, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the Period Nirvana channel for more content like this. I want to say, because this is somewhat of a little bit of a mean-spirited video, and on that note, I don't enjoy saying bad things about products, but there are some brands that really need some tough love. The first cup on the list is the Ring, also known as the Beppy Cup. And this product actually isn't the worst menstrual cup I've tried. As a menstrual cup, it's really not that bad, but it has a design flaw, and one that I pointed out in my review. I would not even have added this cup to the list, I think, except for the fact that the brand, when they saw my TikTok about the flaw in their product design, totally went ham in the comments and got super defensive in a pretty unprofessional manner, and has gone through and not only attacked me, but attacked commenters who agreed with my statement about their design flaw. So as a cup, it's fine, but it's when it goes to the cleaning part where the design flaw actually shines. If you missed my review, I will tell you a few things about the cup and my experience, just so you don't have to rewatch the whole thing, but certainly you are welcome to, as with all the other videos in this if they have a review. So the Beppy Cup does look like a bucket, and it has this little bouncy flat stem, and it has a what they call a no spill or leak proof rim. I can't remember quite which way they call it. And it is marketed to be used for penetrative play while you're on your period, because they say it doesn't obstruct the vaginal canal because it's so soft. So you could just kind of like squash it like this. Now, I actually tried it for that, and it was my bad that I was on a heavy day and I used it the morning after a full night of bleeding in it. Ruined my sheets. It was a freaking disaster. And that's all in the review. But that's actually not why I think it's a really bad cup. I think it's pretty piss poor in the design, because when it goes to cleaning it, you cannot empty it out efficiently. It is like da-da-da-da-da, and this rim catches stuff inside of it, and it's quite cumbersome. So the instructions, I want to point out, I looked back at them because the company got really defensive when I pointed out how cumbersome it is clean. And they said, well, hey, we designed this, you know, it's perfect, essentially is what they said. And I went through all of the instructions in here about cleaning and taking care of it. It's a really fancy book. So it has inner flap here. And the cleaning section, which is in this user instruction, and also the one I downloaded on their website, does not mention how they suggested on TikTok to clean the cup. I don't believe any menstrual product should have to have a video to watch in order to be able to clean it. And I think you should just be able to dump it and wash it. They are saying on TikTok that you have to do like a complicated squeeze, like, actually I can't physically do it. Like this, to something where you pop it and then do, it actually won't stay for me. I've tried this a few times. So they want you, I physically fucking can't do it. So they want you to like keep the spout and squeeze it, but then what is gonna go through this little tiny amount? Not clots, not blood. Or they tell you to just flip it inside out, which is, I mean, if we've used menstrual products before, I'm not doing the infomercial thing where it's really difficult. It's just really dumb to flip it inside out to clean it. So, no. Like, who wants to do that? To completely clean their cup. So this is gonna be where things get caught. It's gonna be a lot of rinsing and dumping, which if you're mindful of using a lot of water, something you probably don't wanna do. It shouldn't be that hard. There is another product with a similar no-spill rim. It's the Femicycle or the Formunsa, and that's what theirs does. You actually pop it out. It's made in such a way that when you pour it out, it does this, and you can clean it, and then you pop it back in, and it's pretty easy. This does not. So that's why it's on the list. All right, next cup is the Elanee Menstruationstasse. Please tell me how good I am at trying to pronounce that. That was my first try. Usually I mess up on the Menstruationstasse. So this is the TPE cup from Germany. It has this little heart stem and it curves like this. And this is the box. As the Beppy, this company makes other period products, and the cup is like their newer product. This is their newer product. I think they both actually make soft tampons, which are more popular in Europe. And both of the Beppy and the Elanee are European brands, and this one's from Germany. So I actually really was intrigued by this design, not immediately turned off by it, because I thought maybe this brand was trying something like the Flex. The Flex has on the inner part of the rim a stem that pulls like this, and it pulls the rim down so that it breaks the suction. And the Elanee has an attachment, a movable stem that attaches to the rim, and it looks like there are, in fact, two places that you can pull this thing and this thing to remove it. Because if it's not going to break the suction, which is what I assumed it was designed for, why is it designed this way? That was in my head. And when I tried it, it didn't break the suction. So I still don't know why it's designed the way it is. You can trim off one of the hearts. You cannot trim both. So you will always have something pointing this way. I like to call it the stabby cup because it points towards your vaginal wall. I did try wearing it so that it goes like this in the body, because you actually do have a natural curve, and I thought maybe that was why it was the way it was, kind of like the kind cup. That didn't work either. So in practice, this was probably one of the most uncomfortable cups I've ever worn. So not only was it a bad execution of some mysterious design concept that doesn't seem to work, it was just flat out uncomfortable and painful. It did, in fact, stab my vagina. It suctioned to my cervix, and I couldn't sit down because it was like stabbing and suctioning to my cervix. It was very painful in so many different ways. And it's really firm. Like, this is one of the firmest cups I've ever used. Really hard to fold and firm in your body, which is uncomfortable for me, not for everyone. So I just didn't quite understand what they were going for, and they certainly missed the mark if they were going for something, or they were just trying to be novel with this, which, again, novelty with menstrual cups isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it serves a purpose and you find out, wow, that's actually cool. And sometimes it's just a gimmick that doesn't work. And this is just a whole cup that didn't work in any way, shape, or form for me. So I did try, using this to see if it broke the seal. It's too firm, it wouldn't do it. I tried it in one of my demo cubes that created a suction and broke the cup by doing so. And that was in my review. So that's it. Bad cup, 0 out of 10 if I started rating these for everything. And do not recommend. Don't waste your money on this one. So the next bad product is the valve cup. And I think this is actually just for all valve cups. It's not just for this particular brand of valve cup. I was asked all the time, Kim, have you tried a valve cup? Does it work? And so that was why I got one and I tried it. It works with this little bead that's in the stem, and you push it down to close it so that blood is stoppered. It's not going to come out. It's literally a stopper. And then you push it up into a wider space in the stem where blood goes around this little pearl and escapes. So there's a lot of different things about this cup that are bad. The first being that in practice, when I tried it, the draining of fluid did work. I was really surprised that it worked, but it took forever. In addition, when you're going into your vagina to kind of navigate this pearl and push it in and take it out for the draining process, I got quite messy, which I was surprised by. And the benefit of this whole concept of draining your blood instead of removing it and emptying it and putting it back in and washing it and all that is that it's supposed to be more convenient. And so it's another one of those bad designs where if it's not fixing that problem for people, then it's pointless, because I could remove my cup, dump it, and put it back in and not wash it, because you don't have to when you're in public. You can just put it back in and wash when you get home. So if it's all about time and convenience and mess, that is a total fail, because I got messy and it took way longer to drain my oil over the toilet. In fact, I had to kind of like milk it to get some of it out. The stuff did get through for the most part. I actually thought it wasn't going to drain as well. It surprised me on that, but again, it's slow. The other issue is that during cleaning and you're kind of moving this pearl around, I'm like obsessed with the cleaning of products. I don't know if you've noticed, because if you can't clean it easily, it is a turnoff. And so you do have to move this pearl around to get gunk out of it. And I very much unintentionally popped this pearl right out and almost lost it. And once it comes with an extra, if you lose both pearls, you have a cup that does not work. Maybe you can go to Joann's and buy a replacement pearl bead. I don't know. But again, it shouldn't, if it's not solving a problem, it's not worth all of that work to use it. So it's a bad design. I wouldn't recommend it. I know there actually are fans of these cups, and they will maybe leave comments and say they love it. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's something that no one uses, but I certainly did not find it beneficial in any way. The cup itself worked fine, but it's no better than a just regular cup. It doesn't save you time. It doesn't make it more convenient. It certainly doesn't make it less messy. So why? Now for the one a lot of you have probably been waiting for. I haven't talked about it on a YouTube video here on Period Nirvana. I have talked about it on my TikTok, and it is the screw cup. The screw cup. So this cup is certainly one of a kind. Look at that. Looks like I could be ringing a bell. And it had an idea. Not a good idea, but it had an idea. So you won't need a stem. You can just use this product to screw it in and then use that as the stem and remove it. Now, in theory, I've always assumed and still assume that there was some amount of design for accessibility in mind, maybe. In action, there's nothing that really benefits people from this design that I can tell. You can stick your finger in this thing, but you can do that, I guess. I just don't see it being a benefit to anyone. And the main thing that has happened in trying this product is that it was the messiest thing I've ever done. messiest thing I've ever tried. And I use menstrual discs without, you know, I've used discs that don't have removal aids, and they are quite messy to remove, with just no benefit. It was very hard to use, and it hurt like a motherfucker to get it out. If I were going by the instructions that were included in the product, it says, this particular panel tells you that you just need to, after you screw in the thing, do this to break the suction, like move it, and then it's magically broken, and then you use the screw handle to pull it out. That didn't do anything for me. So the big issue with tools of any kind is that there is no sensation to the product. Touch is really, really important when you're using reusable cups and discs, because you can find where it is. You can even find if it's open or not. You can find where your cervix is. There's so many benefits, and not everyone has the ability or the sensation of touch, even if they have the utility of their hands. Not everyone can use their hands to the, you know, extent that I can. So accessibility is something that is less addressed in a lot of period products, and I kind of hoped that this was something that might work. When it was in my body, this flange thing is intended to kind of help you find the hole. It does, you know, they did think about that, but it was way harder in my body to find the hole, to screw it in, and so I got super messy during that process. And then when it came time to actually remove it, the whole wiggle it around so the suction breaks does not work. So it does have suction holes in the cup, so you can break the suction with your finger, but that's not what they tell you in the instructions. They tell you to wiggle it around a little, and so I did that. It didn't break the seal, and in fact was really painful. This cup created a super powerful suction, and a bunch of people said, okay, well, just like unscrew this. This has nothing to do with making it suction or unsuction. That is just there as a handle. No part of that is doing something about the seal. So in my own trials in my body, I eventually did have to reach in and break the seal, but it's hard because it has this thing on the inside. So I really struggled to get this product out. It was harder to use this product than it was designed to be. And so again, we're going back to, maybe I should have titled this Worst Designed Cups Ever for all of these cups I'm currently talking about, because the design functionality doesn't do what it's supposed to, and it makes it harder to use than easier to use, which means it is pointless compared to a normal, regular, non-gimmicky cup. So this is the worst cup I've ever tried. If I were to rank all the cups, the worst experience, the messiest, the most painful to remove. I was a little bit scared while using it, which I've really not been in most other products. And it's just dumb. Like, I was hoping it looked dumb and wasn't dumb. It was just dumb. So anyway, screw cup, quite bad. Someone said it looked like a Home Depot cup on TikTok, and I agree. It really seemed like someone with a vagina had never used a cup, thought of a cool idea, designed it, no one with a vagina tried it, and it somehow made it onto the market, and still perplexed by that. Even though this video is about worst cup experiences and seems to be only about bad designs, I do have one cup that is a good design. It's a great cup. It's a good brand. It, by all appearances on paper and everything, should be a great cup, and it is a great cup for some people, but I personally had a really bad experience with it. And so I like sharing this story, and I've never shared it because it's just an example of something where it can be the bad cup for you instead of it being a bad cup. So no hate on this brand whatsoever. I just wanted to share it. And this is the EXO Flow menstrual cup. It's actually beautiful. I think they did such a good job with the design. It has this cool X on it and kind of like an O here. It's really neat, very clever. Has a little ball stem that helps you remove, you know, the cup is until you break the seal. Very rounded, has a high capacity. It also has a beautiful box, and it comes in 2 sizes. So this is the mini box. And I tried the cup years ago, but because I have a lower than average cervix, I trimmed off the stem entirely, completely to the base. Didn't leave even one ball. I just know my body. I had trimmed off the stem. Hours go by. I think I had some light leaks, It wasn't working perfectly for me, but nothing seemed totally like a fail. Things took a turn for the worse when I went to remove the cup. I put my fingers inside. I guess I could use my sweater here for a guide. I put my fingers in to remove the cup and pinched the base as I normally would, but there was nothing there. And when I tell you that this was years ago, but I'm still, then as I am now, a very experienced menstrual cup user. So I know logically the cup isn't going anywhere. The cup is not lost. Obviously, it didn't like fall into my underwear. It didn't move into my body. Like it didn't get past the cervix here. It has to be there. But when you're in that situation, I have to tell you, it is panic. It's like fight or flight. Your mammal brain goes into a different space. So I start in a split second. I'm already running through the scenarios of I lost my cup is gone, my cup is lost, I can't find my cup. And I was sweaty, my heart was pounding. It was really, really quite terrifying. Even in that split second, I had a very scary experience. And here's what had happened. The cup had turned upside down in my body. Because I had removed the stem, the cup was very rounded and somehow turned 100% upside down, not a little bit, all the way. So when I went in, I was in the cup, which didn't click immediately because I was just like right here. And finally, when I started digging around, I started noticing the rim and that I was inside the cup, and that's why the cup felt like it was missing. It was upside down, which then presented a challenge to remove it because you have to decide, am I going to try to like manually turn it? It reminds me of, breech pregnancies. Like, do you want to turn it or do you want to deliver it the way it is? And I opted to deliver it the way it was, which it had kind of created this awkward suction upside down, and it was really hard to move down. It was a challenge, but I did eventually get it out, and I was very like, it was really, really bad experience. And it wasn't the cup for me, but it's not a bad cup. So I do reiterate that. It wasn't a horrible cup. It isn't a horrible cup. It just was in the right position, right shape. I did something and it turned. So it is a possibility in rounder cups. And I share this story because that experience was the first time I really had a bad cup experience. Up until that point, I had always tried cups that worked really well for me, and minus a leak here and there, it was just fine, or it was too long, or it was too firm. I never had like a catastrophic menstrual cup failure until that day. And what it taught me was how you react, even if you know your body and even if you know theoretically what's going on, how powerful that feeling can be of fear when you're using a menstrual cup that gives you a bad experience. And it actually really taught me a lesson as an educator, a lot of empathy for the people who have bad experiences with cups that aren't bad cups, that just are bad cups for their bodies. And it can really change your mentality to say that, cups aren't for me, when it might just be that it's a bad cup. Or it could be that cups aren't for you, but it does take a lot of courage, especially when you're not a menstrual cup expert. Like, I knew cups worked for me. It didn't scare me away from trying cups. Had that been my first experience with a menstrual cup, I may never have tried another menstrual cup. So, it was bad. I lived through it. I knew things were going to be okay, but it was pretty scary and uncomfortable and, bloody once I started navigating through doing that. I must have been wearing period underwear or having a super light period because I didn't notice that like the whole thing had turned up inside of, the whole contents had left. So I'm not quite sure how that was the experience, but, it's been years, but that's how it went. So on this journey going through the worst cups and the worst cup experiences I've ever tried, the bulk of them were just really badly designed or have design flaws that otherwise they're good cups. And then we have the one time where that cup was a perfectly well-designed cup that just didn't work for me. It happens. But I thought it would be fun to share some of these stories. I do put myself through a little bit of vaginal trauma for the benefit of others so that they don't have the same experiences. And I'd say that's the case with most of the cups on this list. I took one for the team, as they say. But it, you know, not every cup is going to be a winner, but 99% of them are for someone. And that's really the moral of the story. Like, they're mostly good cups. They work for someone because they made it all the way through to the shelf. Although I don't know how some of these made it to the shelf, but for the most part, someone had to try them, someone had to like them, and someone had to say, this is a great idea. Still perplexed. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Period Nirvana on TikTok, or if you need help with your cup, join the Period Nirvana community on Facebook. Let me know in the comments if you've had a similarly horrible experience. We can all commiserate. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Gotta get set up here. I'm all untucked. Sweater weather. But wade out there.